So now we are going to submit a creative work. I will show you how to submit all three kinds of creative works. Please read these red instructions again. On this creative work form, you must fill out every question that is in blue. Otherwise, you will not be allowed to submit. So the first blue question is how many co-authors do you have? Which means if you are the only author of this creative work, then select 0. If you have one more co-author, then select 1. We strongly suggest that you already have, for each creative work submission, you already have all this information typed out somewhere so that you don't have to look for it when you're filling out this creative work form. In this particular case, Anita has one co-author. Her name is Gasira Kimani. So we will put this in as the first co-author's name. There's another question here where it asks you, what position do you want your name to appear? So Anita wants her name to appear in the first position, so we select first position. The first co-author's name is here. Now we need to enter in the first co-author's short bio. So I've typed that in here. So we're just going to copy and paste. The first co-author's country of residence is Kenya, so we're going to select Kenya up here. And then what organization does this person belong to? This person does not belong to any organization, so we're going to type NA. What is the ancestral eco-web of this person? She is from Kenya, so we will select East Africa, and then she belongs to the Luo tribe, so we will select Luo. The author is a human individual. Here, your co-author can be a community or a movement, but in this case, she happens to be a human individual. And then here is your co-author's pronoun. So we have filled out the co-author information. Now, question 8 and 9 are very important. Your creative work must be your original work entirely. If you select no, then you will not be allowed to proceed. So please make sure all components of the creative work are your own. Select yes. And you must own the copyright and licensing rights to all components of your creative work. Again, if you select no, you will not be able to continue. So please make sure you do own the copyright and licensing rights and select yes. Now, the next blue question is down here. Now you need to select what category and subcategory of EaRTh you would like your creative work to be considered for. We hope that before you sign up for an account, before you do any of this, that you have read the submissions page in full. Again, this is the submissions page that you can get to from any of the pages, and the submissions guidelines are here. So please make sure you read this in its entirety before you sign up and before you submit a creative work. All the categories and subcategories of EaRTh are explained here on the submissions page, so please keep referring back to this page. Let's go back to our creative work form. This particular word narrative, Anita wants to submit to this category and subcategory. So we will select regenerative and then human eco-web integration. This is where you type in the title of your creative work. The maximum number of words is 10. Please use a descriptive title because out of the hundreds and thousands of creative works that are published on EaRTh, you would like people to see yours. So please type in something that's interesting and 10 words or less. If your creative work is fiction, then select yes. If it's not fiction, then select no. This is the 30 to 40 word engaging subtitle. Again, a person, a viewer or reader will probably read your subtitle and make a decision about whether to read on or view on. So make sure your subtitle is engaging and describes your creative work. So now we come to the 3 types of creative works. We will go through these one by one. If you have a word narrative, then you must upload a Word file with your word narrative. Let's look at what's in the word narrative file. Make sure you date your word narrative file, your name, your email, your co-author information, category, title, subtitle, and your narrative. So your narrative, this happens to be a series. This is the part 1 of your narrative. Now, the number of words for a narrative needs to be between It says right here 500 and 1,000 words for prose. So make sure that here it's 726 words, so that's okay. And then again, for part 2, want to make sure that it's between 500 and 1,000 words. And again, this is 984 words, so that's okay. This is the narrative file that you want to upload. So here it says choose file, and we are going to upload this narrative. Make sure your Word document does not have any images inside it. The maximum size of this Word document is 1 megabyte. Every Word narrative has to be accompanied by at least one image. Let's say my Word narrative contains one image. So I will choose the image file. Here I have Anita Pal. I've dated it, and this is image number 1. This exceeds 1 megabyte. So make sure that you resize your image file and upload it again. So I have resized my image file. So I'm going to choose this file again. And now you see you don't get this error message. Each image must be accompanied by a caption. Please make sure your image caption is descriptive, but below 50 words. Here, if you want to share your social media handles, please do. I am putting in a fictitious social media handle for this author. Let's look for the next blue. The system is going to ask you whether this is a special Earth project. If it is not, then select no. No. If it is, then select yes. You can select from any of these. So let's say this is a journey special project, select that. Now, if this is part of a series, then select yes. This happens to be part of a series. So it's going to ask you how many total creative works in the series. We have 2. What number is this particular creative work in the series? It's number 1 because it's the first one we're submitting. Now there's nothing to list of what has been previously submitted, so I will leave this blank. And this is very important. This is where you give us the non-exclusive license to publish. Please scroll through this to know what you are granting us. This summarizes the non-exclusive license to publish. You retain the copyright to your work, and you retain the right to publish your work elsewhere, as long as the other places in which you publish do not have an exclusive license over your work. And then click this box and submit. Now, once you have submitted, you will receive an email telling you that you have submitted a creative work. I'll have your name, your email address, and the SRN number. This is very important, especially for a serial. Please copy this because we're going to need it. Let's go back to submit it. So now we want to submit the second part of your creative work because it's a 2-part series. So submit a new creative work. You will fill out everything again. So since we had a co-author here, make sure you fill in her information. Okay, now that we've done that, again, you must fill out all the blue. You must answer all the blue questions. This is regenerative human eco-web integration. Title of your creative work. Make sure you number this properly. This is the second of 2, so make sure you edit that. It's not fiction. You can use the same subtitle for creative works in the same series. This is still a Word narrative. Upload your Word document again, and each part of your series must have its own image. Do not upload the same image. So this is a different image. And the caption for this image is here. So I'm going to type it in here. Again, your Instagram handle goes in here, or your Twitter handle. So we're going down here. This is a special Earth project. We had selected journeys. All right, so this is very important now. Total number of creative works in the series, 2. This is the second. And here now you're going to have to provide this information. So copy and paste. This is your SRN number. So it's your essentially your, this is wrong. So make sure it's deleted. You have to type a comma. If it's correct, it will tell you this is a valid SRN. Let's try to see what happens if we type in an incorrect SRN and a comma. It will tell you that it's invalid. So let's type in the correct one. Now, if this was a three-part series and this was the third in a three-part series, then you would also have to type in the next one in the series. Don't assume it's the next number because other people may be submitting creative work in between your two. So always go back to your email and check the number of each of your submitted works. So now we're going to go back here and submit. See, we did not choose something. We did not choose this first position. So make sure everything is filled out correctly. And then we go back down, submit. Now you've submitted 2 creative works.